Yeehaw! Greetings everyone, this is Aurora and I'm here at the park with the latest energy update. So, what's going on is we have had major downloads and realizations overnight. Since a very blessed intervention of love that involved a lot of candy, basically, it's that simple. So, and just to commemorate this event, I was at Siesta Key back in the day working at Earth Origins, and I was telling one of my, people that I advised as a health coach, that I really don't really eat candy much because I was like all puritarian and raw and organic. And he said plainly and simply that, he's like, life isn't worth living without candy. So I was with a very old friend of mine. He's an old soul that came by here, the park, and picked me up a couple nights ago. And we just went and just got a huge bag of candy. And that shifted my whole outlook, okay? It was that simple. So let me take you back to the beginning of time in this sense of the word, whereby I was up in Shasta, partnered with Archangel Michael, giving sessions. And, Father of all creation, who is my twin flame, wasn't around my energy. He was being programmed elsewhere to betray me by a very sick mother figure. All like the mother of all creation figure is really derangedly sick. She's very sick. You got to pray for her, everybody. Because, she makes pretend she's all about divine unions and twin flame unions, but she's like every other mother. She wants to own and possess her so-called kids. She really didn't consider me as one of her own because I'm nobody's kid. I'm nobody. Like even my own mother, I called her by her first name. My own father, I called him by his first name. I was never the like, mommy, daddy, can I please do this? No, I always did what was energetically correct in the present moment of now. So I was mother of new creation towards her as well. They were all my kids. Amy Carlson is my kid. When I'm hard on her, it's because she's one of my kids. I didn't come from her. I made her. I made her in order to deconstruct all the other mothers, genomically retarded conditioning. And mind you all, that's also from the private repertoire of those who know. She was raised in Texas, and the stepmother, would beat her to death if she didn't finish her apple pie on her plate. So there's a lot of this abuse going on. I've had a lot of testimonials with many other Americans as well from several different states, as well as South Carolina and beyond. There's a major, fixation on parents beating up their kids if they don't finish their meal. That's a big thing here, part of the genomically codified conditioning of the zone in this land of the brave, home of the free. And it comes from a deep ingrained sense of fear, from when they were colonies and came into the land of the free. And a lot of the people that arrived here at the ports, and when I went to Tampa to get from Idima to Brawi every step of the way, that got robbed by Cristal Cordoba. And then I'll come to that in a nanosecond. Many people arrive here at the port with like $5 from Mesopotamia, and they still make it in the land of the brave, home of the free. But it creates inside of them a conditioning where they have to they take it out on the food thing majorly, because it's an obsession. It's an oral phallic obsession that humanoids have. And in truth, we don't even need food. We don't need food as evolved Christ conscious beings. The food thing is superlateral. We don't need that. We have mana, from the divine every moment. It's in every atom. You don't need the whole eat and shit thing. That's the biggest waste of energy ever present. That's the main cause of pollution and beyond, and retardation. However, now going back to what happened, when Archangel Michael asked me to leave because he saw that, Father of all creation was very West Virginian retarded in his conditioning, having been false ingrained and false crystallized by Amy Carlson since he was 13 in certain ways, to despise the divine feminines who love themselves. Michael just let me go. He says, go love yourself, right? Now, if you look at the repertoire, Justin Bieber has a song that goes, my mama don't like you and she likes everyone, whatever that means, you know, meaning Amy Carlson loves everybody but me, which is very obvious. I mean, she denied me, my covenant, my work, never gave me any credit. She's one of my kids. She has those issues, right? So coming back to the self-love thing, people on earth, why I'm having so many problems is if you love yourself, people cannot stand you, because that's power in itself. So let me reintroduce how I met the Cordoba person there, Cristal Cordoba. You know, I came back from Tennessee. She was like right there, like the same scenario as Amber. They were programmed to hate me because I love myself since my initial moment of arrival. So Cordoba was in the Bikram room. She was standing first row. She looked at me with a look like, I'ma fuck you up, bitch. You know, literally, like, in other words, that's what she was saying. And I'm the tenderest, sweetest of any Amrita Nadi essence, pure essence, divine, like, loving giver. So I don't have any fear of the mean, evil, you know, hateful people. So then, you know, I moved in the house and she told me all the story about when she first moved in with Brendan and Joelle. You know, she was like a bush, like she wouldn't shave. She had like all her, you know, her legs were full of hair. She had like a full bush of like pussy hair, bush here. She wasn't taking care of herself. You know, she was in self-despicable energies. She was driving drunk all the time. The cops was about to arrest her all the time. So he begged me. Brendan's like, please, please, Aurora, give her a session. And then same as Amber, you know, she took it upon herself to say she's me. She never paid me. And then she started to, you know, malignantly, like when I was on my first date with my former boyfriend, whom you all have known by now, she called me at the table, what's his name? And then she literally, like, he gave me a report. She went to his office and went down on him. So same as, you know, when I, you know, was living with Forsyth, my brilliant co-creator photographer, he told me, you know, your friend, you know, made an advance on me, you know, and she's not my friend. I don't have friends. That's the basic rule of things. You know, she came on to me. So now she's also in Chris's pants and everything. So what went down is, you know, these people come here with a lot of self-hate. And, you know, she's very brunette and she probably hates that about herself, which is why everywhere I went in Fort Lauderdale, everybody would tell me, you know, your hair color is attracting a lot of jealous people. You better stop being blonde, because I know what it feels like. You know, when I was brunette, since, you know, and I was never that brunette, meaning my hair always changed. I was like red, then châtain clair, then very blonde at some point, then turned back to black. It was depending on the geography or wherever my diplomatic family and I would move every year. So, you know, I have all the repertoire of pictures at my father's, you know, how my evolution, my skin color changes, my hair color changes. I go according to the geography of things. So what happened is she developed a hatred of my self-love, and she started to do whatever she could to prove that I'm a stripper prostitute with the Latino gang people that also have the same, you know, brouhaha of hating, you know, class, glamorous blondes that just are on top of their game, you know. So like the hate went so deep that she took it upon herself to say she's Dima Tabrawi married Jonah for Aurora Diamond Rainbow, which is pathetic. And that's how she stole, you know, my island yoga attempt to, you know, provide galactic yoga to this community to advance you all. And now instead of everybody advancing, now everybody is like very, very bitter. You know, they're very self-hating and they hate me and they mock me when I put makeup, say, they go, you're the boy! Ah! But then the next day when I made that comment, I was here at the, you know, Coligny Circle at the beach, I was just spritzing up my face, just putting a bit of like glam and jam and spritz it up. Brendan that day told me, you know, you do all the wrong moves at the wrong time, because they're all programmed by Cordoba that falsely rules this field to hate any being that is in self-love mode. So then when I still was at the Planet Fitness up north, they, sent this beautiful two girls, because they all support me. They came in and they stood where I normally stand in Planet Fitness, and I do my hair and everything and put makeup. And they just took like hours putting makeup. Like that was like total sister support. And I have one of those beautiful feminines number, which I never had the chance to use yet because I was just, relocated. Like the energies moved pretty fast. Like once a place makes the grade, I'm released. I'm not like in a place to stay. This is not like a religious thing. No, I'm an energy catalyst, enabler, shifter. So, the Cordoba thing was also going to Moss Creek to do and also if you think about it, like old patriarch energy, like even David Rogers and everyone, David, like, why are you turning blonde? They ain't paying you for it. And it's about this blonde thing. People, associate the blonde thing with like Barbie, and they mock these like Malibu perfect girls that have the car and everything. They go, oh, they're stupid. She's stupid. She has a like pink car with glitter. Like she's dumb. Like she wears pink and she's blonde. She's stupid. That's like a meme, a meme, whatever you say. It's like a cultural conditioning where people hate you if you're that type of self-loving person. They just hate you. So, and this is not ego mind. Like when I'm this color, I'm also standing up for all my sisters who are that divine feminine type of self-loving creatures that deserve all the love in the world and that are being judged because they are that. And I've grown up in a house where also my dad, if we were driving on the street and I would see like a beautiful, gorgeous, self-sufficient goddess walking in heels and a tiny little shorts and a super crop top, and she'd like have like blonde, purple and pink hair and like carry herself with like super cuteness and like, and then I'd be, and he'd like, oh, she prostitute. Like that's like something of the retardation of the patriarch thing. They will judge any woman who's just living the life, because if they can't control her enough to make her fat 2 months into living with her, then they're afraid, because if she's hot and she's their chick, she's going to attract attention from everybody else. So they hate that frequency. All the men do. They'll just judge them, say, oh, she prostitute. He told me this because I'm his daughter. But then if he ever got the chance to talk to her, he would probably say, you want money for sex? Because they're so ignoramus that if you're not a fat, ugly, self-loathing woman like their mom, they cannot view you as a woman. They have to view you as a prostitute. And this is what Father of all creation now has been embodying and, very strongly. Like the more I'm divinely beautiful, the more he hates on me. And he hates Cristal Cordoba and hating on me. Everybody has to hate on me because I love myself. And it's become legal to hate me and call me names just because of how I carry myself. And if I sleep in a car, it makes me Russian. Now they're also judging my Russian sisters, whom I send lots of love to. And I will never, abandon or forsake any of us. So now that's a very deep conditioning of the Latino gang situation where, if you look at them, they're like a little bit shorter people. They're like bulky. They have their kids, Every Latino kid that approaches me, they have to, like the little boys, they put their tongue out, they hold their dicks, They have very deep ingraining of the sexual conditioning bullshit. And the reason why I can break free is because Miguel Lamboy was, Puerto Rican. And then he did make some remarks to me about my past, like, oh, you suck dick, whatever. Like, he was a very jealous guy, in Mission House. Like, he would be at his station there, and I would be walking around the house in a bathing suit. Because that's what I do. I will attack the ego that I see in front of me. Okay, he says he's Archangel Michael, and he does the sessions with the ego mind list. But I saw his ego, and I would do whatever I could to fucking provoke him to get it out of him. So one day, he showed that off. He just, stood up and said something about, yeah, all those dicks you sucked, whatever, from my past. Like when I was a party girl and I had a few boyfriends back in the day, he had to throw it at my face vehemently. And now it created a counter opposite response in me whereby I'm like, no to all, because it went very deep. So even though he came back at me this summer and went, Dima Russell, and then he went, now we're going to destroy the gospel goddess that you are. You're not a goddess. You're not goddess Aurora. You're not, go suck a dick. Now he became against himself too, because he really hates now how I love myself, because that's how it goes, because I'm no longer his. That's patriarch ways of being. Same for Jonah Terry, Same, like, as soon as I got here, he started to send me, like, Badoo invites. Like, go. Why don't you go get many boyfriends on Badoo? And the most funny thing is, he's seeing a short, Crystal Cordoba is short. She's a big tad big. She's, like, loud, very vulgar. She drinks a lot of beer. She's very loudmouth. She's very negative. She says a lot of shit about people, especially me. And when I was being in that mode, I was only reflecting that aspect of how much shit they were saying about me. So now he is legit married to a short, fat, very dark brunette, hairy, like little chimp that hates me with a passion. And he lets her sleep with any guy she wants, but she's not a hooker because she's ugly and short and fat. And I'm a hooker because I don't sleep with anybody, but I'm blonde and tall and beautiful. You see how it is? That's a patriarch thing today to be deconstructed. Yeehaw! Love you all, motherfuckers! Whoop whoop!